Coming up, we got snowed in last week, and we got something to say about all of that noise. Hit the music! Podcast time. I'm Al.
And I'm Kayla.
And welcome to the YU podcast. This time filmed in front of a live studio audience. Clap it up, AD. Clap it up. Give some claps. No, just there you go. Good job, buddy. That's right. Because of the weather, thank you. Go back to what you were doing. Because of the weather, we have to do today's episode with our son in the room. Hopefully it won't be too distracting for us and for you. But of course,
real life, baby.
Real life. Happy. Reality hits you hard, bro, like they used to say back in the day. Right. But again, welcome to the YU podcast, the number one podcast for everybody in Texas and Oklahoma and anybody else that had inches of snow where you couldn't go anywhere. You couldn't do nothing.
Lockdown.
And that is what we were going to talk about today. But first, let's take an honest inventory of ourselves. While you are watching and listening, take an honest inventory and ask yourself, am I doing okay? I mean, we have been dealing with a lot of stuff these last 18 months almost.
Man.
So, Kayla, how are you feeling?
Keeping my head above water. Making away when I can. Temporarily off. Like legit.
Good times. I can tell you.
We lucky we got them. No, like legit. I'm making it. 2020 and the twin brother 2021 is.
I told you.
A lot. Okay.
This is 2019 cubed is what it is. It has not changed. We are in the end days, as they say in the Bible.
But I'm pushing. We pushing. We making it work.
Right.
Life is happening.
Well,
we blessed, but still.
We actually were very extremely fortunate that our power did not get cut off at all during that time. But I know just a block over the AD. Sit down.
Beautiful picture, son. Now take a seat. Thank you. Okay.
Anyway, a block over from us where the Kroger was, there was no power on that block. My main concern, though, about our power not being cut off is how much that light bill is going to be next month, because I've been hearing some stuff about gouging of things, and I am not excited about any of that.
True that. And then also my salon power and water was out, but it's back on now, so I can get back to work tomorrow. So a lot of my clients and friends had to deal with that too. Yeah. Some of my friends dealt with burst pipes. Yeah. Flooding,
No power for, 50 hours almost, having to go somewhere else and then go in there and their pipes bursting. It's been an ordeal for a lot of folks, and the fact that really the only thing that we had to deal with was on this would be Thursday. Our water pressure went down. So we had to kind of drip water into containers so that if we needed to flush.
Out at first, and then it came back and the pressure was low.
Yeah, we just actually today did our pressure get back to normal. Well, no, it was more like last night. It was more like 5, 6 in the evening time. And I kept thinking we have been extremely fortunate, and I don't ever want to put into anyone's face that, we had power when a lot of people didn't. We were just one of those people in our neighborhood that just, I would say we were lucky. And I hope that a lot of you, whether you are listening or you're watching, or if you know someone that has been affected, I hope all of you are doing better during this time, because, wow.
It's been a lot, because I've been in touch with a lot of friends and clients and stuff who had to deal with that, and it was just, I was praying for them, praying for their family and stuff like that. Yeah. It's like, if you need anything, let me know, stuff like that.
Kayla was,
it was just heartbroken. I mean, heartbreaking.
Kayla was trying to do her best to keep a lot of people on her Facebook page up to date with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, like when they had like different warming stations you can go to,
Mm-hmm.
different places you can get like food, water, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. And I didn't do much of anything. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I didn't post nothing. I may have commented on people's stuff, but I didn't. And it was because honestly, right around Wednesday, I started to feel that cabin fever. And see, a lot of people, when the country shut down, when COVID first broke out, they had the opportunity. I won't say opportunity. They had the misfortune, I guess, to be on lockdown. I really didn't. Like, I still had to work every day. So this was a new experience for me. I kept trying to go places. He kept
on asking anything we need.
Is there anything else we need?
Store. I can go down the street and get some. I was like, you got cabin fever down.
So here's the thing. So Monday, I was trying to go to the store for hours. I was like, we need stuff. We need bread. We need all this stuff.
Mind you, we had just grocery shopped.
We did.
Saturday before.
We went, Saturday. Kayla came home early and surprised all of us and was like, we should go now. And it was a good thing you said that because we were going to go. We were planning to go Sunday.
But that night is when the snow started.
Exactly. She was like, well, with the snow coming in tonight, it's better for us to go now. And I was like, that's perfect. But the list that we made, it didn't have like a lot of meat or bread or anything like that. And that was because I wanted to start doing like a 2 shake a day thing.
Go sit down.
Hold on. AD, go sit down.
You trying to make a cameo? We can show your face later.
Yeah. We'll have you coming at the end. Right now, you got to sit down at the table. So anyway, we got like some essentials. We didn't get a lot for meals because we like the way the meals were going to be cooked. We'd have like dinner, but the rest were shakes for breakfast and lunch. So we didn't really prepare for that. So Monday, I'm like, we need bread. We need stuff. We need something to go with the lasagna you're going to make that we forgot to grab because we were out for like 3 hours. And by the time I think the first hour was over, we were kind of like over being outside. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I can go to the store and get some of this stuff.
I'm probably still tired from work because I had started earlier.
That's right. 7:30, right? Mm-hmm. So like halfway through, you're like, yeah, we'll just pick up the rest of the stuff that we need later. Not really realizing that it was going to get really, really bad that night. So Monday around 5 o'clock, I was like, well, I can go to the store before they close and get the rest of the stuff that we need. Kayla was concerned because of the ice on the ground. I'm like, Kayla, I lived in New York for 2.5 years. I know how to navigate in the snow. I know not to be out here reckless driving because I know better. So I leave and I go across the street to Albertsons, and right when I pulled up, Albertsons shut down. They was like, yeah, no, you gotta go. So I was getting ready to come back, and Kayla was like, well, you want me to check and see if Kroger's open? I was like, yeah, please, because I'm already out. It just makes sense for me to just go, I think it's like 2 blocks over and pick up stuff that we need. So I get there. First, it took me a while because I was going like 10 miles per hour. Like I was not playing. Like other people were trying to go fast. I'm like, y'all are fishtailing. I'm not doing any of that. You can have that. But I get there and the lights are out, and it stinks because a lot of the like seafood and dairy stuff had gone bad because the power had been out for hours. But I guess they had the generators set up, so all the registers, well, not all, because they only let people go through self-checkout. We know. Can you keep it down, son? We're trying to record a show at the same time. Thank you. So anyway, well, see, this is actually really good for him because usually he's like all over the place. So that's not too bad. But anyway, so only thing that was open was self-checkout, and they had a sign in the front that said we're not selling bread, we're not selling meat, we're not selling dairy, and that was everything that was on, pretty much everything that was on our list. So I was like, well, just to get us through at least the day for the just in case nothing is open tomorrow, I got cereal because we had bought a bunch of like oat milk and almond milk. I bought chips because we needed to snack, and we already had a dinner plan. So
and AD eats a lot, so we need to.
He
make
does.
Sure.
So I got like 3 bags of chips and 3 things of cereal, and I was just like, if this is what we have to eat and just have smoothies or whatever, then we'll be fine. It's not
like we didn't have food.
Yeah.
People, I cook.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. A few extra things for lasagna too, because I had planned on making lasagna. But I also made a roast, which we'll eat tonight.
Oh Lord!
I made some other things.
Okay.
Because you made it like all we had was junk food and cereal.
Kayla gotta fix it. She gotta be like, breakfast. That's not all. We had stuff. We did have stuff.
Eggs and.
But I had to. Some of that stuff we didn't buy because we weren't preparing for the snow. The stuff that we bought was to prepare for switching up our diet. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm getting at. I'm not saying that we didn't have stuff. I'm just saying we didn't have enough. Right. So I bought stuff to get us at least through the next 24 hours. Because I knew the sun would poke out at least Tuesday and Wednesday. And even though there was more snow coming in, I knew I could at least get us through that. And then the next day, right around noon, it was right around noon. I was like, let me try to go out to Albertsons and try to get the rest of the stuff that we need. So I get there and it's open, but there's no heat. And I'm walking through the store trying to find the list of stuff. And I whatever was there that I could get my hands on, I went ahead. I got like bacon and sausage and I got biscuits because there wasn't a lot of bread. What were you saying?
No, I just said you got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I got. I told myself if I could get any kind of bread, it's perfect. So I found Hawaiian roll sliders because that was really all they had. And I bought 2 of those. And I'm just like going through. I walked through Albertsons at least an hour just trying to find stuff. I walked out of there spending $150. And I was like, we should be set for a good while.
This should take us the rest of the month. But the internet connection was crazy. So we couldn't do that.
And that was because T-Mobile is garbage, and it's even worse in a time of emergency. Like she tried to FaceTime, all she saw was a black screen. I could see her, I could see you clearly, but couldn't hear me. She tried to call me, couldn't hear me, so we were just texting. And then the text would come in, like I'd get yours immediately, but when I sent mine out, they'd go in like 3 minutes later. You'd be like, "Oh yeah, get that," and I had already like walked away. But I was able to be prepared, and then from there it was like. I think we stayed in the house all day Wednesday. Mm-hmm. And then, hold on. Hey, please stop. Stop. No, you got to be quiet now. Not right now, you don't. We're recording the show.
Thank you.
So, we have that. And then stayed in the house. And then Wednesday was awful for me. I was walking around. I was bouncing around. I was like, I got to do something. I can't. I
kept on asking. I was like, "Are you okay?"
I was like, "I don't know."
He was like, he's about to lose his mind.
I started having a panic attack at like 5, and I just had to like stand up at the little bar. And it's weird. I took my shirt off, and I'm like trying to cool down, and it was a lot.
And mind you, I had kind of been used to this because I was like, okay, this reminds me of beginning of quarantine last year because I was out for almost 3 months with AD.
Mm-hmm. And I was just like, people had to go through this.
People still going through it.
They still going through it. And I commend them for the fact that they did it because I started losing my mind. And man, this was just the week. Mm-hmm. I commend you for doing it.
I know.
For the time that you did. I remember you would text me. I'm like, Kayla, I'm working. But I get it. Like you had no outlet. So like texting me all day was really not just me.
Yeah.
But like texting me with what you had.
In the house.
Like LL Cool J in the house. That's a reference for you, by the way. But
at least this time I had a companion.
You did. And I really wasn't making it easier. But we caught up on a lot of movies. Mm-hmm. We just spent time together, and then when we needed time apart, Kayla would go in the other room and I would play a video game in the front, and we figured out a way to make it work.
Right.
And like just our experience was super different from everyone else because just from what we saw online, people not having power and trying to have alternative sources for heat and putting themselves in dangerous situations, people lost their lives during this. Some people couldn't come up with anything and they froze to death. Some people tried to warm themselves up in their cars in their garages and ended up dying from carbon monoxide. Like, it's sad that all this stuff has happened, and a lot of people who are supposed to be our representatives for the state of Texas, like, we're gonna talk about Ted Cruz, and we would mention Ted Cruz in the past, but now we have more ammunition to roast this fool. Those of you that may not know, if you're not in Texas, if you happen to be one of those ones who lived in other states, we envy you. Texas is it's okay when it wants to be, but when it's garbage, it's garbage.
It's trash.
It is hot garbage. Senator Ted Cruz, during this time of worry and need for millions of Texans. Ha! Ha! That was good.
It wasn't original.
You'd be like, that wasn't mine. I read about.
It's been
that's someone else's joke
since yesterday.
But Fled Cruz. That's all I want to call him now. That's all you can really call him. That's what he was.
Hey.
But he and his family got on a plane and went to Cancun. And when he got caught, he tried to flip the script and make it seem like, this was a planned trip.
He had a PR team that was like, okay, this is what we're gonna say, blah blah blah. Because then he was like, well, my daughters wanted to, get out of the house and blah blah blah, and just, we're gonna go to Cancun. And then he was like, I'm gonna fly them there and then leave the next day and come back, while they stay there.
And I'm like, you have the audacity to flee to the country where you were like, we should build a wall. Should nobody come into America from Mexico because of blah, blah, blah. Like, you're doing all this stuff.
Like, you think it's so unsafe, but then it's safe enough for you to fly, leave your family there, and then come on back.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then the worst part was he put the blame on his daughters. Like, that's how you know that you're a snake, when you're willing to put the fact that you ran to somewhere warm on your children. And there are some people, and this is specifically on the thread that you had when you mentioned that Ted Cruz left and went to Mexico. Some people were saying, and listen, before I even get into this, it is okay to have differing opinions on certain situations. So whatever we're getting ready to say, we're not bashing these people at all. They are entitled to feel how they feel. However, what you have to understand is it doesn't matter if you have the means to go. There are millions of people who don't. And for you to get a police escort into the plane or to the airport or however it happened, and then leave when there are millions of people who don't have the access to do so, shows a sense of cowardice. And I just don't appreciate at all that it happened. And there were some people who were saying, well, what could he do? He could have done anything to help.
They were like, what could he done? And they was like, whatever he could have done it remotely so he can be in Cancun doing it. It's not just that. It's the fact that you, like, leaving in the middle of a crisis and, like, everybody else is, like, trying to, fend for themselves and tough it out. So it's like, why you not toughing it out here? It's like I said, it was a slap in the face. Really.
Exactly. You keep talking because it sounds like he's trying to potty, and I got to help him.
He got it.
Oh, my buddy's in there pottying. That's what I'm talking about.
Boy, okay.
He's a big boy.
Good job, baby.
We are so proud. He is doing it on his own. The light's not like, we don't even have the light on in there, and he
just got up from the table like, I gotta go.
Yeah, he was like, y'all, can y'all hear me? We can't.
Y'all carry on. I got this.
Hey,
good job, son.
Hey, we are good parents. We didn't neglect him to do the show. We just taught him that he could use the potty on his own. Okay, that's what I'm talking. Tell the people, IPP. That's what I'm talking about.
What you do, AD?
I go pee.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So, getting back to Ted Cruz, there's he could have called in. There's so much aid that needed to happen. He could have made sure that more aid was coming than what was received, and we are thankful.
Right.
I mean,
and I know. Oh, go
ahead.
Some people were saying, like, okay, he's a senator. What can he really do as a senator? The thing is, okay, he's still a public figure.
Yes.
And he's still a state leader.
Yes.
So you can still do some other things to help out. Like, Beto was up there. He had a whole volunteer team calling the elderly and, if people were stuck in their homes, he had like people help to go get them and bring them meals and stuff like that. So, I mean, you can do something.
Exactly.
And even if you were doing something, like we don't know, so it's not put out there that you were doing something. But if you was like when you were running for things, that was always put out there. Oh, I'm doing this for the community and all that stuff. So why not put that out now? You know what I'm saying?
Buddy, go sit down.
Yeah, take a seat. You gotta take a seat.
Look, you see?
You
see our buddy. AD, listen, not right now. We need you to go sit down at your table. You'll come back. You'll be able. We will be able to show everyone who you are in a moment. We promise. We just no. Sit down. Sit down. No. This is why we do the show, because there's no in and out. Once you're in here, you're in here. So just chill. We're not gonna be recording long today. That is
Catman people too.
Yeah. When you're in one room, I can't even speak. When you're in one room for a long period of time, it takes a toll on you. Hold on, buddy. Hey, I need you to chill out now. I need you to be quiet now. Hey, remember I promised you a Happy Meal? You want that Happy Meal? You gotta be quiet. Thank you. Shh. Watch your video. We appreciate you. The things you gotta do as a parent. Bribery is at the top of the list. But, I honestly believe that now, like I had mentioned before, to make sure you are registered to vote. But now with Abbott trying to blame the fact that the power in Texas went down because of wind turbines and blaming this whole Green New Deal, like the whole thing being on AOC, when the Green New Deal isn't even in effect. It is still in its drafting stages and trying to be made something that can be used in America. It just goes to show that the leadership in Texas is awful. And there are so many things that could have been done to at least, I mean, you couldn't have prevented it. You can't prevent anything as far as like weather, but there could have been things in place just in case something like this was going to happen. And now it happened, and it ended up impacting so many people. There are so many folks, the homeless people. I can't even imagine the strife that they had to go through during this. And there was nothing put in place to prepare anybody for what was getting ready to happen. And today, on Friday, the ice is starting to melt bit by bit. It should be gone by Saturday, Sunday. But the loss of life will be high because of this. And I can already see that there are the people who are in charge will not take responsibility for their actions, so they need to go. So if you live in Texas, if you're watching this and you have been affected by this, remember that feeling when it's time for these people's jobs to come up. We need to get them out of here. Cruz needs to go. Abbott needs to go. Right. Anybody else?
Got a while before he out, but hey,
man,
I'm gotta be figured out.
I'm calendar watching. Homie got to go. You understand? I don't know. What are your thoughts, Kayla? Because I know I said.
You already heard my thoughts.
I just want you to add to. I feel myself getting flustered and frustrated, and I kind of want to leave it alone.
Oh,
so
I mean, those are my thoughts. Like, he trash. That's it. Leadership should be better, way better than what it is. I don't know. I think I'm just over it, so I ain't got too much more to add to it.
Yep.
I done kind of exhausted a lot of my frustrations or feelings towards it yesterday, so maybe that's why I'm kind of drained from it, from the thread when I was talking about it on there.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why I don't feel like talking about it no more.
That's fair. That was an experience just reading it. I'm like, how do y'all sit back and be like, well, what can he do? This is how I likened it. So let's say it was the people who were like on the flip side trying to say, there was really nothing he could do. Let's say those people are in a car with their family and they're driving somewhere and they run out of gas and it's cold. There's really no way to get out. Let's say one of those individuals gets out, and instead of trying to figure out a way to get gas, figure out a way to get the car towed, figure out a way they're like, you know what? I'm going to call an Uber and I'm going to get to the house. Y'all let me know how it goes with the car. I'm gonna be at the house chilling.
Cause there's nothing I can really do.
There's nothing I could do. You could do something. That individual could call an Uber. They all Uber to the house, and then they figure out the car later when the conditions get like. There are ways to figure out things, but you have the audacity. Oh no, there's really nothing he could do. Like, he's a senator. What do senators actually do? They have a forum. They have a public forum to get aid. They can have people donate, because when all of this clears, people are going to they need their properties fixed, and they'll be like, well, that's what insurance is for. Texas insurance, I'm certain, doesn't cover snow, because we don't get snow but like once every 3-4 years, something like that. So
every blue moon. And then and all the northerners was like, well, that ain't nothing. We do. Okay, it ain't nothing to y'all, but the South, we don't deal with it, so we not prepared for it. And we have the right things for it.
I was one of those ones. Well, I didn't really say it, but in my head, I was like, I've seen worse than this. But it's different because the North is prepared for that, because it snows like 10 months out of the year.
You know, snow trucks and all that stuff like the North. People ain't putting down salt and sand and stuff like the North.
Right.
Houses aren't built, like the North. We don't have basements and all that stuff.
No, we don't.
It ain't built for it.
It's not.
So stuff gonna freeze.
It is. And there could have been something. He could have got on the phone and, excuse me, I got the burps, y'all. He could have got on the phone and been like, once this thing clears, this is what we need to be prepared for. We got to get out, make sure people are okay. We got to make sure they have food. We have to be there for the people of Texas. And Ted Cruz said to himself, nah, that's not my job. I just go up to Washington and try to get Donald Trump off so that the Republicans will keep me in power when it's time to vote.
But he was super roasted yesterday. Even made it like national news. People talk about him on that.
As they should.
Like, ooh,
he deserves every bit of it. And then, I'm not. That's the joke I just had in my head. I'm not gonna say. Terrible. It's mean. I'm not gonna do that in front of y'all. I'm gonna do it when the cameras are off. That's the type of person I am. We're saying like we're going around, but we're saying like this is not okay. Like, it's not. And we weren't nearly as affected as other people were, but I'm just as angry as they are. And
then wherever, I don't know where Colorado City is, but the mayor of, you saw that? Mayor of Colorado City, Texas, he resigned because of some stuff he said on, it was either Twitter or Facebook.
It was Facebook.
But he was basically like trying to call people out, saying like, stop being lazy.
The government
you need to help yourself. The government don't owe you nothing. And, if you around here complaining, do something about it and all that stuff. And it's like, people ain't complaining. But they saying, what they're lacking, and, how the government officials, hey, all of them, the government,
they all
and
of them,
and
the officials, all of them,
help out. Like, so that's why, people were speaking out about it, but he's just like, well, y'all lazy, basically. Y'all need to do what y'all can for the families, because what can we do for y'all, basically?
Something.
But,
if you have the means.
He got a lot of backlash from that, and he was like, okay, let me resign.
Yeah. One thing you don't do when people are hurting is blame the people that they're hurting. Like, the only people I think were really ready for this were doomsday preppers, where they have bunkers made in their backyards and they are stocked up just in case a nuclear bomb hits and they're stuck underground for 50, 60 years or whatever. Like, those people were ready.
Right.
The rest of us who live paycheck to paycheck don't have those means. Like, we have a fireplace. And when we moved in, I was like, when will we ever need a fireplace? And then the need was there, but I was like,
but we ain't have no firewood.
We didn't have no firewood. And then I barely know how to start a fire. Like, it's not just you just take a lighter and light wood.
I could have YouTubed it, but we just didn't go get no firewood.
Yeah. And then it's like, okay, the places that would have firewood are sold out, but Home Depot had to basically sell lumber to people so that if they need firewood, they could light some wood. But that didn't come because there weren't any resources. There weren't a lot of resources available. So when these people are in power say, well, what are we supposed to do for you? Anything is better than blaming us for stuff that we aren't in control of.
I ain't gonna blame them for our fireplace, because I could have figured out how to do it.
But we didn't really need it.
I just didn't feel like trying to start a fire to do it.
If our power had gone out, so I had to edit that. we had to stop for a moment, and we had to have AD go in the other room.
Hashtag adult.
Sorry about that. I mean, that's just where we are right now. You know,
it's all good.
It is good.
Family.
This is something that had to happen, and you know, we missed episodes for certain reasons, but I didn't want to miss this one because I felt like it was important for people to know how we felt, and even though, like, you know, it's just our opinion, it's just our feelings. Like, everyone should have an opportunity to express how they feel, and I didn't want to miss this episode because, you know, AD was going to be around, and we also want to keep an eye on him because he's 3 and he breaks everything. So we're not going to do a long episode. We're not going to do our standard about hour and a half. We're going to be wrapping up fairly soon so that we can go be parents. That's just how it is.
Y'all
so
family,
yeah, you understand. You know. So I appreciate you for dealing with me because my anxiety sometimes takes over, and sometimes I can't function correctly because I feel like I don't know where to fix something. Like, I don't know how to make the situation better. Mm-hmm. And I know when I start like bouncing around, I know it makes your anxiety spike, and it doesn't help anybody.
What is wrong? What do we need to do?
I don't know what's wrong.
Talk to me.
I don't know, and that's
then I'd be like, tell me how you feel, and then I try to figure out, and then divert some stuff, and I'd be like, Eddie, come over here. Let's do this so Daddy can get his stuff together. Yeah. Then we'll all come back together collectively.
Be like, let me just play the game for a little bit. That'll, you know, I can put my energy into something else, something, you know. But I appreciate you for dealing with me because I know I'm a handful, and I know, like,
them Geminis, I tell you.
Here. Okay. Let me tell you what you're not gonna do.
I'm just saying.
The Gemini bashing. I am tired.
I don't ever bash Gemini.
I'm not saying.
Anytime people try to bash him, I'd be like, no, I deal with a Gemini. I know how to deal with them.
No, it's not like that. See, Geminis can be very straightforward, and sometimes when we're straightforward, it's like brutal, and people, they just think we're mean all the time. We would just rather tell you the truth to your face so that no one would clown you in the future. But if you're not going to listen when we tell you the truth, and then you come back and you say that such and such happened, then we let you have it. Because you're stupid enough to put yourself in that situation. I'm sorry, huh?
Other people.
I'm sorry, what?
You said then we let you have it. I'm just saying you let other people have it.
You mean to tell me I ain't never...
You talk to me like you got sense. You don't be talking to me crazy.
But there's a difference. I still tell you about yourself now. But I just don't talk to you out the side of my neck. There's a difference.
The way you say it, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm just letting the people know. You don't talk to me crazy, Brown.
I'm saying there are times when I'm at work and someone will ask me how I'm doing. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'll think to myself, do I really want to tell them how I'm feeling, or do I want to keep my job? So I kind of keep it. You want to
keep your job.
I keep it diplomatic, but I still say how I feel. I still say some of the stuff is garbage and I don't like it, but it doesn't change the fact that I got to do my job. And I'll say that, like, I can sit and complain about all of this, but at the end of the day, I still got to get my job done. So you'll know how I'm feeling. A lot of people they can't take that. They can't take the truth because they're used to people telling them what they want to hear. And like, I might tell you what I want you to hear, and I might tell you what you might want to hear just so you can get out my face. But if you're going to continue to stand here, you're going to get some harsh truth. And that's just how it is. So a lot of the stuff that we say, even with AD being in the room, we'll tell you, hey, this is what it is. It's not like, what's the word I'm looking for? We don't neglect them at all. We just have to be stern as parents, because if you let him do whatever, then he grows up wild, and then people will be like, well, why didn't you? Where's the parents? Mm-hmm. Like, well, before when we was trying to parent, y'all was talking about our parenting styles. Like, a lot of people say stuff just to say stuff. They got to have their opinions on somebody else.
We're going to do how we want to do.
Exactly. So before we move on, or before we end, was there anything else that you wanted to add about what we've had to deal with this past week?
Other than the weather stuff and all that stuff that we had to deal with, and, you know, being off, I got a question.
Okay.
What's a simp?
Okay. The definition varies from person to person, mm-hmm. but essentially it's someone who is all up in a woman's behind doing everything that they can to keep them happy. And I guess some people would say was kind of like an overly emotional guy. Or no, because men are simps, women are pick-me. So a simp is a man who
pick-me.
Pick-me? You never heard of a pick-me before?
They made that a thing.
Oh yeah.
So what, like, you got to be seen?
No, like with women. Pick-me? No, so pick-me is a woman who they'll go online and they'll talk about all this stuff that they want to do for a man. Like they'll cook and they'll clean and they'll make sure that the man is happy. And the way that they're wording it is like, if you are a single man who is looking for all these qualities that I am listing, hit my DMs because I need a man. That's what a pick-me essentially is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I had brought that up because not everybody been going off, but it's been black men going off on Russell Wilson because they're calling him a simp for essentially caring for his wife. And I don't understand how you a simp for being in love with your wife. Well, it's the way that they say it. Like, it's like, because whatever he was talking about, he was saying like, I'm afraid to lose her. And basically, he just want to cater to his wife and be the best he can to her. But they calling him a simp for that. So
I actually have that is a portion of that article bookmarked in my on my Twitter for if we ever brought it up. But because I use my phone to record the camera across the table, I can't pull it up right now because I don't want to lose that connection.
Gotcha.
But I read exactly what you're talking about. It was an interview with GQ, and he talked about his biggest fear, and his biggest fear was losing his wife. And yes, there are so many people who talk about how he is and how Ciara will end up leaving him in the future and all this stuff. But I saw something today where it was like, if you take away the names, the status, and the money, and you just put a picture of Russell Wilson and Future side by side, women would pick Future over Russell. And someone in the comments basically agreed, and someone was saying
was it
that,
a woman
like,
that agreed or a male?
I believe they were women. Yeah, they were women, but they had like scratched out their name and their picture so that people wouldn't go and like bash them in their DMs or whatever. But one of them had the audacity to say that Russell looks like, what did it say? Russell looks like he likes his butthole played with. And I was like, that's
wow.
The thing about all of that is like, none of that matters, but they're essentially saying that Russell appears feminine because he has emotions for the woman that he loves. And it has bothered me to the point where I don't engage with the topic because I see parallels with myself to Russell. I believe that keeping your woman happy, and not to the expense where I lose myself in making you happy, should be my goal. But there are so many women and men, especially with our people, who don't know how to effectively love somebody else. And when they see it from a distance, they immediately become threatened by it because they're used to being dogged and they're used to receiving scraps. And man,
it's definitely a touchy subject because it's like, I don't know, it comes from like either a chain of them seeing what they seen in like previous relationships or in their family, both on both parts. On the male part, maybe that male have seen like their dad or grandfather or uncle, somebody dog their women out or talk to them crazy and all that stuff, or just be a womanizer. So they're used to that and they not used to showing that type of emotion or, you know, saying they love their wife or their significant other. And then the women who are used to being dogged out or being talked to crazy or having an argument, raising your voice every day and, you know, calling you out your name every day, thinking that's normal. So when you have somebody who come along that don't do that and they show their emotions and actually tell you how they feel, they be like, oh, you a simp.
Yep. Or
and
they
that's like
claim
a new term for me. I was like, why everybody saying simp on the you know, social media and all that stuff? I was like, Let me look this up. That's why I brought it up to you.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so in your definition, what's a simp?
Simpin.
When I saw it on the internet or whatever, they were just like a male who allows a woman to treat them any type of way or all that stuff. Basically, a rug.
Yeah. Now that I agree with. I think that what people believe simping to be is, if I'm trying to be with you and you just walk all over me, you talk to me out the side of your neck and all this stuff, that's simping. That I agree with. But what they're trying to apply to Russell Wilson,
right, it's not the same thing. He just saying he love his woman, and he got that type of love where he's saying he don't ever want to lose her.
Exactly.
That should be the type of love you want, right?
It should be, but you have to.
I don't ever want to lose you.
Right.
Did that make me soft?
No. it makes you, honestly, what it is, and I talked about this forever ago. It's the images that's put on television. Some of these people come from broken families. They either don't have dads or they don't have moms, or they do, but their parents aren't active in their lives and they're raised by their grandparents, and their grandparents really don't have time for them, so they stick them in front of a TV. And what do they see? The images on television, and that's where they believe how relationships should be. They should be trying to change the hardened man who's been through so much, or he's coming from off the street and he's got to hustle to get what he needs. So he may go out and mess around with other women, but as long as he come home to me every night, it don't matter. Like, that's what is put on television and in our media, so that our homes can continue to stay broken. But when they see someone who is not white or Hispanic, who is actually loving on their woman, they don't know how to process that that's how it should actually be. So they think, oh man, Ciara runs all over him. We can already tell because he's just so nice and smiling and all this stuff.
But the thing is, like, even for them to say that about her, even like the way she's perceived on TV, I don't see that from her.
Right.
From them to like be like, oh well, he's so nice, so she must run over him. Because even when she's speaking him so highly. Yeah. And like, you can tell she in love. Yeah. So it's like, why would you even put that persona on her as, oh, she must be running him,
I guess
running him down.
They look at the music, and I don't really know if Ciara wrote her own songs. I don't know this. Maybe she did. Sometimes those songs are written by a group of people, and then you watch the videos and you see what is being put out there, because that stuff sells. So they say to themselves, that's who she is. That's not necessarily the truth.
But all her music ain't like that.
I'm just saying, you have to think, this is going to sound so like uppity of me to say. You have to look at the people who don't think on that level. They just, whatever they see, that's what it is. That's the truth. So these, let's
they
say,
looking at her old stuff goodies and saying like she only wants somebody or somebody want her for her good.
You know, I ain't watch videos. Like, I didn't get a chance to really watch videos, and even in my like teens and my 20s, I didn't watch music videos. So like, who were the men who were in her videos? Like, the background dudes. Like, what did they look like? Did they look like thugs?
Well, when she first came out, it was just like she just showed like Atlanta and how Atlanta was.
That kind of says a lot, actually.
I guess. I don't know. I don't look at stuff like that. I mean,
I know, but
I don't look at I don't judge it in that way.
But
I judge it on like culture at the time.
But you gotta you gotta think of the mindset.
But no, I'm saying like each of her videos weren't like that though.
No. I understand that. I'm not saying that you are. I'm saying that there are some videos. And I mean, maybe I would need to actually like go and see some of these ones that people be talking about. But
who are these people? Who are they talking about it?
The people who are calling Russell Wilson simps.
No, I'm saying like, is it like something you seen that people was like, I'm looking at Ciara videos and this is how she doing Russell? Or you just
I'm trying to tie, like I'm getting ready to tie it together actually, because it's, you look at how some of her videos may have been, and some of the men who, if she's dancing and there's a dude standing like this with his chest out, and this is what I see, and maybe I'm getting this mixed up.
Like
different.
A boy video?
Maybe. I think that's what it is. It's like dude like this. Got the hat on and all that. Anyway,
you talking about her? Because that was her with the hat on and standing like that, like a boy.
I don't know. I don't watch music videos.
Okay,
but like, what I'm trying to is, you have that image there, and then she marries. Was she married to Future? Or did she just they just had a baby together?
Yeah.
So they were dating.
Dating.
Yeah, and then they have a baby together, and they look at how Future is, and then they're like, she goes from that to Russell, who, you know, from what we know, because no one, the way they are together is probably how they are, but everyone puts forth whatever image they want to be seen in the cameras. So they probably argue once a week. Who knows? But they look at that, and he talks about how he feels about her and how he tries to uplift her at every chance that he can. And they look at all this other stuff, and they say, oh, well, she runs all over him because I know Future wouldn't let her do all this stuff. Okay, go ahead. So that's why. And it's unfortunate because that I mentioned sometimes, like when you say, like, when you would tell me I have the potential to have sex appeal, I'm like, I look at how people dog Russell online, and they don't find him attractive at all because he doesn't have that street edge. So I would always
a certain percentage of people.
Yeah.
And then you got another percentage of people who do find him attractive.
Yeah.
And then like you were saying, like you said something, you saw something online where they put like a side by side, and everybody was like, well, I choose Future.
Yeah.
But I mean, Future ain't my type, so I wouldn't say I choose Future.
Yeah, it was just the example that was put up that I saw. And it, you know, they only use the first few comments anyway. So that was what I saw in that moment.
Right.
But I don't feel sorry for Russell Wilson because he drowns out all that stuff. Go back in the living room. He drowns out all that noise. And he is like, it's me, Ciara, and our kids. And he adopted baby Future and is showing him what type of man he should grow up to be. That's what it should be. Instead of, this is how men are seen. They have to be hard. They can't show any emotion and all this stuff. And then you wonder why Future got 25 different baby mamas. That's probably not fair. He's probably only got 20. And every time he fathers another child and that woman goes for child support, he'd be like, I don't know what you think this is, but I've been doing this long enough to know that, like, you're not getting any money. Like, that's pretty much how he treats it. And all these women will sit back and say, I would choose Future every time. Future needs therapy. He needs to unlearn a lot of the stuff that he knows that he has learned. And he needs to show people that that's not, like, how he is now is not how anybody should strive to be. But everybody is entitled to do whatever they want to do.
Right. People always gonna have opinion on people's relationship, even though it ain't nobody's business what people do.
And if a man truly loves his woman and expresses that he doesn't want to lose them or that he is willing to love her out loud, he should not be judged for that. I love you out loud purposefully because if something were to happen to me, I don't want it to be a question about whether or not I really loved you or not. That's why I tell you so much, because I don't want it to be a question.
I want people to know, did you love me?
Right.
And if you up there not saying it, I'm going to be like, wait a minute.
Right.
You know?
But I mean, I've been like, from the beginning, I've been telling you how much I love you so that if I don't, then it becomes, are you okay? Like, are you going through something? Because you ain't told me you love me today. And I'm like, I mean, I love you. I'm just going through some stuff.
Yeah. So
I get it. But I honestly believe that if we could just move that narrative away, but it still goes back to a lot of stuff that I say. The homes in black culture, they have to stay broken because there's the pipeline for the kids to be put in jail. But that's another discussion for another day.
Right. That has to be broken.
I honestly feel weird. This is because it's short.
Oh.
We like, if this was a regular episode, we'd be going for like another half an hour. But honestly, with everything that's going on, I don't want to take up everybody's time. Plus, you know, we got a 3-year-old essentially being unsupervised, and that's not safe for any of us. So
he's fine.
You
okay? See?
It's okay, but I want you guys. Come on in, AD. No, just leave that. Just leave your stuff and you come here. Okay? Come on this side. And come around mommy's chair. No, I'm gonna put them on my knee. All right, look in the camera right there. Tell everybody hello.
Hello, everybody.
What's your name?
My name is AD.
How old are you?
3.
You're 3 years old?
Yeah, Gabriel 3 like me.
That he's talking about our nephew Gabriel. I want you to say hi. Say hi again, to everybody.
Hey.
And tell them
everybody.
And what are they listening to? What's the name of the podcast?
Mommy and Daddy.
Yeah. What's
it called?
What's it called? Can you say the YU?
YU.
Say the YU podcast.
YU podcast.
All right.
Thank you, babe.
All right. So what we're gonna do before we go is we're gonna do our weekly motivation to get everyone through the rest of this week. So best of wives and best of women. What do you want to tell the people to keep them motivated through essentially the end of days?
Right. Basically, everybody who just going through the winter weather and the outages in these areas in Texas and Louisiana and everywhere in the South, just about. Just keep your head up. I pray for you and your family. Just know that this won't last for a long time. So whatever it is, you will get out of it. Just keep your head up. And
I want to piggyback off of that. This was it wasn't really eye-opening because I kind of seen everything, but I think it should have been eye-opening for other people that, man, Texas, we got to start making some changes because the establishment that has been put in place for forever does not have our best interests at heart. And to not shoulder any blame, which again, I kind of understand because they can't be in control of the weather, but what they could do is be in control of the response. And from what I can see, at least on this day, which is the 19th of February, there's been a lot of finger pointing and not a lot of this is what we're going to need once this clears up. So a lot more people have gotten their power, and that's great. They're getting their water back. But now they have to assess the damage. So if there are people that you know that you can help directly, please help them. If you don't know anyone that has been affected, but you want to find ways to help them, I didn't get a chance to look up any of those. I didn't get a chance to look up any of the response things that have been put out. But I know
have a few, so we
you
can
have some.
put the
Yes,
link
please.
in the bio.
I know AOC has
description.
raised, I think she said like $500,000 or $250,000, and this was 2 days ago for people in need in Texas. So if you want to donate to that, I'm going to find that link so I can put it in the description as well, so that you can donate and help those that are definitely in need, because all of Texas needs help. Not yet. Not yet. We're almost done. And please check on your people, all of them. Even if they're not here in Texas, if they're in other parts of states, just check on them and see how they're doing, because you never know. This is a rough time. 2021 is coming like gangbusters. It's coming harder. Well, I'm just talking myself into the wrong corner here. 2020 is I can't even finish what I want to say.
It's a lot.
Now, let's hit up these socials because he's getting antsy. I can't hold him any longer.
Instagram for me, Mickey Styles IG. Facebook for me, Mickey Styles Salon.
RDP _ Instagram and Twitter. YUPod _ on Instagram. YUPod on Twitter. You can definitely find us on YouTube at the YU Podcast. If you are watching, make sure to leave a like, because it helps with the algorithm. And if you'd like to be a part of the conversation, leave a comment. I'm going to start actually commenting back. Sometimes I'll just upload stuff and just walk away from it, but I need to actually stay engaged with everybody else. Now, did I miss something?
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. So it's time to wrap this up. Maybe make a run to the store and buy some bread. I don't know. I just want to get out the house. For Michaela.
Have a good week.
And AD. Say have a good week.
Have a good week.
And Alfonso, we bid you a good day and adieu. Remember to wash your hands, wear a mask, love each other, air hug each other. Check on your people. Make sure they're good. Tell the people that you love them. The only way we're going to get through this is if we stick together, y'all. Stick together. That's it. We will see you. Look in the camera, AD. Look in the camera. We will see you next time. Say bye-bye.
Bye.